Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of our Man's Night right here in our studios from Inside Out. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much again for joining this very epic and interesting podcast right here with us. Thank you guys so much for joining. As you guys can see, I have Truthful Tam in here. What's up, Tam? Or Tammy, how you doing? Anyway, she says, hi, everyone. Sending love and light to you all. And, of course, we got Tin Man here also. Greetings, all. And it's nice to see you, Tin Man. I hope you're doing good in your neck of the woods. Tim Man says this just now. Looks like you got another 800 subs. Whoop whoop. Yep, absolutely. So we're growing. Whatever it is that people are doing, getting it out there, it definitely helps. So I definitely appreciate that nonetheless. So chime in here, guys, real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear me and there's a good sound quality. If not, I need to probably adjust my mic because it sounds like it's reverbing or have some type of issue. I don't know why it's doing that. Can you guys hear me okay with this? Yes, no, maybe, kind of. And Tammy, if you wanted to get up in here real quick, you can to do this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. But thanks for the comment there, Tim, and I appreciate you as always. But as you guys can see in the title description of this video here tonight, we're going to be talking about something that I believe gets shoved on the rug a lot. And Tim Man said, yes, it's quite loud. I don't know why. All right, I don't know how to. I'm going to take my earbuds out because I'm getting. All right, how's that? Is that better? I don't know why it is. I got my AC running in the background, so there's going to be some background noise. All right, thanks. Thanks for Tammy. I appreciate that. And then Tim said might even turn it down a bit. I did that. So anyways, as long as you guys can hear me, that's the best part. You might have to turn it down on your guys' end. Anyways, welcome to the show, Tammy. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing it. We made it till Friday.
I'm telling you.
What a week, huh?
I'm telling you.
Yeah. What a week. Yeah.
It's been.
But anyways, so the topic I find is very interesting, at least, and I want to let you know that I think this topic itself gets shoved on the rug a lot. What's your take on this topic?
I think it has transformed the whole of humanity. Technology is a wonderful thing in a lot of ways. I've seen it, like, even just like, for example, me with my incident last night.
Yeah,
in the
I'm very sorry, Tammy.
field, it has transformed lives, saved thousands upon thousands of lives. In business industry, it has transformed things. We have things that it's just incredible. Look what it's done to shopping. Like, your groceries are delivered right at your door. If you don't want to go, it helps people that have mental health issues that can't get out in crowds or things like that. The way of bionics for people that can't walk are now walking. I mean, there's just so many good things about it. But the big but is all the bad things that it's brought along with it.
Yes.
Parenting has gone to the wayside. Common sense has gone to the wayside. I have a person that sends me TikToks all the time, and they're like, oh, such and such this, or such and such this, or this might help this, and this might help that. And it's totally propaganda that's been put out there that's BS. It's not true. It's not factual information. And then you have kids. I have an irresponsible family member that has a child that was raised up on all this technology. And I have a real problem with a parent going here to
Yeah.
like a 1 or 2 year old getting a tablet thrown in front of them. And then they grow up in the culture of they don't leave their bedrooms except to come out, go to the bathroom, bathe, eat, and back to their bedrooms to be on the gadgets, whether it
Yep.
be video gaming or
That's what happens here in
whatever
my
the
household.
hell. And, and,
That's what
and I'm like, for crying out loud, Criminini, no, 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 no.
that's what happens in my household, believe it or not.
Did you ever play baseball out in the street?
Not in the
Or
streets, but I
kickball
not in the
or
streets, but I did do no, not in the streets, but I did do what they call little league.
Okay, so maybe that's me being just a couple of years older. I don't know. We played in the road in our neighborhood. We would play
Well, we had a field.
dodgeball
We didn't
or
play in the road. We had a field to play in, so
oh
obviously.
yeah. Well, I even lived on base and we had things that we could have played on the, but it was more fun to be where we weren't supposed to, I guess.
Yeah,
But my point being is we were outside, we were on our bikes, we were in our roller skates, we were
I
running,
was
we were
too.
playing
Absolutely. I got
like
grass
wall
stains.
ball, hacky
Yep.
sack,
I
all
got
that
grass
stuff.
stains. I played cops and robbers with my sibling. I rode my go kart around the whole entire house or yard. Yeah, we had an interesting life. I also drank out of the hose.
Yeah,
you know,
that was
I,
the most disgusting tasting water ever. Like
but hey, it kept me hydrated.
we kept us, yeah, we weren't allowed in the house.
Yeah.
You didn't go in the house and you didn't want to go in the house till you absolutely had to come home. We could
Correct.
walk to the local little corner store or whatever it is as a group or whatever. But our problem is
Hey, Indian.
we need to like where like the title says, where did the village go? Because even as
And
a
that's
group, we had a village.
and
As a
Curtis
group.
was talking to me early in private chat a little bit or before the live, Tammy, and he was kind of confused. And this is nothing against Curtis. I'm just saying hypothetically here, not bad mouthing anybody. He didn't know what that meant, what the village was. And let me clarify for all of you that don't know what that is. For all of you out there, actually, Tammy's the one I think came up with the term or phrase village, which I like village more. I like saying people or associations or something like that. But anyways, what I'm getting at, my point is, a village is basically another group of individuals or people that we all think should stand together and be just that, a village, and show love and support. So that's my take on it.
Well, there's an old saying that's called "It takes a village to raise a child."
Yeah.
Now, in Indian, I want to ask you because maybe you can tell me. But in India, as I understood it, and I don't know if they still do it, but I had a pediatrician for my daughters when they were little. She was from India, and both her and her husband are doctors.
Yeah.
And she explained to me that the village gets together and they take the kids that they see that have the potential to become doctors or whatever industry that they're good in, and they'll take their funds, so to speak, and put them together. And they took and we take that money, gather it, and send them to school to get trained. And then so as part of their training, they go home every year to their home country and they take care of the village for free.
Wow.
And if you think about that, remember in the old way back days that they used to take the doctor lived in the town for free, like our old ghost towns or cowboy and Indian days.
I remember those days.
The baker lived for free. This did for free, and everybody kind of gave their own things. What do you call it? They would just exchange wares or different trades to help each other, and everybody survived that way before money. I mean, I'm sure there was some exchange of money, but yeah. Yes, see, Indian says yes, it's true. It happens in India that the village sticks together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Some
like,
people have better, better thinking than we do here in the States sometimes.
yeah, you have the barter system too, but this was, yeah, I guess you call that bartering, but um, yeah, I mean, like, I think we need to get back to that. And honestly, like
Well,
any other revolution, like remember the steel industry and the different bangs in culture as we were growing up. I really do believe at some point that
yes, you're correct,
technology will
Indian.
collapse.
You're correct, Indian. Absolutely correct there. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right, Tammy. So I think we need to start picking up some of their traits and act it here in this country. I mean, we need to stop this division, this divide, this hate, this bullcrap, and stick together and be a village. Put our differences aside and work together as a team. That's how I look at it. Nothing's going to get done when we have this divide.
You read John's, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. He said, my good friend John. Hey, what's up, John? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, my friend. Anyways,
I love
back
it.
in the day, we are not home during professional hours, and we weren't home after professional hours if we could at all help it. We need to shove Facebook up.
Remember that.
Yes, that is really true. I can't stand that guy. Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, Tim said the problem is we had a great thing and we let these lunatics corrupt it. Absolutely. Curtis said liberals want to destroy this country. Absolutely, Curtis. You're 100%. Cancel social media. What do you think on that one, Tim? I think if we cancel social media, then today's generation would know what to do or how to act. They'd be lost.
Well, and I think some of us wouldn't know how either because we're used to our fun podcasts and our fun
Yeah.
extracurricular activities and having the convenience of certain things. Here's where I have a problem with social media, and I may get a lot of hate for this.
Oh, you're
Edward
good.
Edward Snowden. Let's talk about the gentleman. I personally don't like the fact that social media or our devices, more importantly, our devices, are used to track and monitor us individually and curtailed and algorithms made to cause addiction to the cell phones and to the things and those types of things that they are gearing. It's kind of like the cigarettes when they were made, and alcohol as well was geared and commercially targeted for younger people as something
Yeah.
to want or aspire to have. My grandmother started smoking when she was a 13-year-old kid. Uh-oh.
John Doe. Assuming Biden doesn't get us into a witch with China, I wouldn't be surprised. The guy embarrassed himself on the grand stage again. I'm not gonna even get into that.
They were
Oh
so
man,
laughing.
yeah,
But
this is
but the algorithms, that is something to really be leery of. I mean, all these social media moguls, and then if you get into the political state of things and really start thinking about it, anybody who balks at social media or says anything about any of those groups that has enough followers or gets enough attention, such as one of
well,
the
yeah,
presidential
because
candidates,
yeah,
it's like asking them to throw a noose over a tree and go ahead and put your neck in it because they're going to come after you because they want to stop our freedom of speech.
right.
And John, if you want to put anything about what you asked me earlier, I did respond to you. I think it is important that our audience does understand. There is a case that John mentioned to me earlier. Let me pull it up. That
Okay.
is very important. I encourage you all to go look it up. It is, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm so
That's all right.
sorry.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get the first topic for tonight up if you want, and then we can go from there. Or you can wait. I can wait until you're done with yours, and then we can do it. It's up to you.
Oh, it's fine. You can go ahead and try and I did too. There, you can send whichever one you want, but just let me know so I know which one to pull up.
I think I'm going to do one of the videos first
Okay,
that you
sounds
sent
good
me.
to me. The
Okay.
one with the young kid is a good one to start with. Um, it's kind of an interesting viewpoint on
Okay.
some stuff.
Yeah, Curtis said this. Everyone should be able to use social media. Yeah. Well, they
The,
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. The case is Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition. Um, there's a lot of it. John Doe, if you have it where you can put it, or I don't know. But again, the case is called Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition.
Right. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do the share screen, guys, real quick. I'm gonna put up the. And if I got two videos that you sent me, Tammy, I'm going to go ahead and show one at a time and tell me if I'm right or wrong, and I'll move on to the next one if I got it wrong. Okay, so we'll
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
can just either one. It doesn't matter. You can
Okay,
discuss them both.
all right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and get this started. Anyways, here is the video. Can you see that?
Yes, can see it
Okay.
perfect.
Do you want me to start this one because I can?
Yeah, it's a really good one. I think
Okay.
everybody needs to hear this one.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, all credit again and description of this video is in the title description of my video. And again, all credit goes to Ronald S. Martin for putting this on. I'm not taking any of the credit. It all goes to him. Here's the video. I hope you guys can hear it. Put it in the chat and let me know if you guys can or not.
Welcome back, folks, to our In School Choice, the Black Choice Special. A student asked the question, whatever happened to that village they say it takes to raise a child?
Well, my name is Ryan Battle. I'm 12 years old. I go to the Howard University Middle School. When a student gets in trouble, like most likely they're going to get put out of class, which automatically puts them onto the school to prison pipeline. And my question is, what happened to the village raising kids that look like me mentality?
Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. And I'm so happy you. Thank you so much for that question, because it's one of the reasons why we are such powerful advocates for community schools. It represents the village. So the community model basically offers all of the components that bridges a community, empowers a community, engage parents, and provide all of those wraparound services that students need, no matter where they come from, no matter what zip code they live in.
Ramona, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Not only do schools have a responsibility, many of our charter schools, out of that same funding, where 40% doesn't go to central administration off the top, make the decisions to have psychiatric social workers and others in their buildings to support their kids. And they have a no excuses model, and they take it upon themselves to raise up every child that comes in that door, no matter what the condition they come from. But to say that is not to say that the government should be as poor in its response to the needs of its own citizens in poverty, as most of our urban governments are.
And I will say this, part of this fundamental problem is that what cities did was cities and counties shut down community centers and provided those services, and they said, oh, just leave it to the schools, but didn't have the resources. So actually what I think, and again, I've heard Randy Weingart make that point, and I understand wraparound services, but I believe what the argument should be is, it should go back to, because this is the problem I have. I got a brother and 3 sisters who are teachers. And what I keep hearing is education is the 5th and the 6th thing on the list. We worried about dental care, health care, mental care. We can't even get the education. If educators, unions, advocates must push back against cities and say, reopen the community centers. So when a parent comes in, we say, no, go there for wraparound services. But in this place, it's for education. And that's what I think too often we're not doing.
Powerful.
If we allow the schoolhouse to become the community center, education will not be the priority like it should be.
Kickstart your day.
So what do you guys think about that? And I'm going to come back to the I'm going to hit the like just because I'm nice. Anyways, I'm going to come back to the screen. Can you guys hear me okay? Tammy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, yeah, that was powerful. Wow.
Very interesting that a 12-year-old asked that question. Was
Yes.
intelligent enough to say, hey, folks, we have a problem here. And for a kid to want that. True enough, this video was 7 years ago, but it still goes to the fact of he was still raised up in this whole social media, electronic vice. Now, I do want to say this as living all over with the military, and then also living in very diverse, huge cities.
Mhm.
I will say something I did notice when I was kind of knocked off my nice privileged living, as I would put it, after going through divorce, and I had no income and had to build myself back up and kind of pick myself up. One of the things that I did when I was a general contractor is I had a client that wanted me to turn around a property that was in a very, very bad part of Corpus, very bad part of town. And before that, I worked as a general contractor helping revitalize what was a whole city block in San Antonio in the ghetto. And it was mixed with a big diversity of people, primarily Latino. There was some Black and there was white. And that was the diversity of it. And there were old to very young, but there were generations living there on housing. And we're talking like a couple thousand people. It was a huge complex. And it took the police at least an hour to get over there. They did not take their speeding time to come over there. They hated responding to calls over there. But I will say this, the kids were outside playing.
Yeah.
At both properties.
Yep.
But
And I think that's what kids, I think kids today need more of that and get off their devices.
Yeah. And in our affluent neighborhoods, we didn't have that. I didn't see it. There was a huge difference. And I think having the money to have those devices had a lot to do with that too. But I think it was better for the kids. The kids that were in the ghetto had more respect than the kids in the affluent neighborhoods, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And to, not to change the subject or do anything deliberately here, John sent you that case file that you guys were talking about, but it's not in the chat. I can't find it, but it's up on my other computer and I can see it just fine. That's weird.
I see it on mine, on my
I was going to put it up on I was going to show it for everybody, but so that's weird. Just want to let everybody know I can't see it on my end, which is weird, but I can see it on my computer and I think it was even on my phone. Anyways, sorry about the confusion, guys. But anyway, Tim Man said this real quick. He says, play is critical to learning. I agree. You got to have play, but you also have, and for the youngsters, I think the real youngsters, you also have to have nap time because that's also part of learning, growing. When kids are overacted or overstimulated, it can actually hurt the mind. So,
yeah.
But let's go ahead and do some more share screen. I got another video that I want to put up. And again, all credit for Tammy for sending me this information. Again, Tammy, thank you so much for sending this info. Again, Curtis said this real quick. Parents need to monitor what their children do online. I agree, and there's not enough of it. Absolutely. Not enough of it.
Nope. Not even close.
Parents, what it is, it's, parents know in the back of their mind, I'll say this. Parents know in the back of their mind that electronic devices today, everything from your laptops, your household computers, cell phones, tablets, anything that you can get the internet on now are basically electronic babysitters. That's what it boils down to. and the parents know that, so they don't need to be watched, because then it takes away the parents' time. But thank you, Indian, for that information there. And then Tim Man said this: that's when it sets in and new. What does that say? It's,
Where is it?
yeah, as that's interesting.
What is it? Where is it?
Tim Man said that's when it sets in and new. Sorry, these words are formed. Something formed. So I do apologize for the words. And then Indian said this: I think it needs to walk with their parents in the woods and forests and ravens, along with. Yeah, I like being outside. I love the mountains. I love camping. Can't get bored of that.
I agree.
All right. Let's go ahead.
Synopsises, that's the word you were looking for. So new synopsises are formed.
Yes.
That finally popped up on mine.
Yes. Sorry about some words are hard for me. I'll admit.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's life. I mean, we all have different varying backgrounds, but big words don't always make the thing. But John Doe posted the Ashcroft versus free speech again, guys.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna see if it popped up after this video is over. Oops, sorry. I don't know why this is the wrong one. Let me go here. This is what I wanted. All right, let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get this one started for you guys' viewing enjoyment. And this one, again, all credit goes to WJAC TV over there, and it makes a great. There's great information in this. Check this out.
As technology becomes more and more portable, it can become hard to not rely on it for the little things in our lives.
But experts say putting electronic devices in the hands of your children can be dangerous. Jacqueline Kovac has the story.
Cell phone addiction. It's becoming more common. According to a national study, 1 in every 8 kids becomes an addict.
Look at that.
They feel that all of their interaction is coming through that device versus through face-to-face interaction. Mm-hmm. And again, that the negative consequences of not having it don't matter to them, that they feel that they must actually have it to feel okay.
They're hooked.
Socialization.
Psychologist says you can tell when your child is addicted when they can't do their homework because they can't put down the device. They would rather socialize with the device rather than face to face. And they're not sleeping because they must be using the device at all times. Mm-hmm. The American Academy of Pediatrics says children under the age of 12 should not have any exposure to a cell phone or tablet. But kids today can be found using the device just as much as adults.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy because I was never that dependent on technology when I was that young. And I feel like now that they're starting this young, they're going to become dependent on it.
According to the American Academy of Pediatrics,
that's too young right there.
Cell phones or tablets can do more harm than good because their brains continue to develop. Cell phone and tablet use can lead to aggression, developmental delays for language and speech because they rely on the devices to communicate. And they're having trouble critically thinking on their own, leading to learning disabilities. And
imagine that.
Movement can then lead to obesity.
To learn how to communicate face-to-face is a normal childhood developmental phase. And the cell phones and the iPads are certainly robbing children of that opportunity. Using a cell phone or an iPad as a parent, as a babysitter for your child, is causing your child great, great harm.
Parents who allow their children to use devices before age 12 say it's become a part of our culture, and they don't really see an issue with it.
Well, if he sees that it's in my hand or if I'm using something with electronic device, he'll come over and he'll try to get on my lap, or he'll try to come and take it out of my hand so he can use it for his own personal use. And then sometimes he'll cry until I actually just hand it to him. So.
For some, phones and tablets are used strictly for learning.
So normally in the morning, we normally use the program for abcmouse.com, and she loves it. So it was a little hard for her to get started, but once she got started, she wants to use it all of the time, every day. She's learning to write her name very well, read, and do math.
Dr. Berg says if you suspect your child is becoming addicted, set limits and stick to them.
It's okay to say we've been too lenient and we need to make some changes. It's about teaching your kids boundaries. It's about limiting.
Absolutely.
Just like you would anything.
Yep.
And it's about teaching kids how to defer gratification versus getting everything right away, right now.
Instant gratification.
The Pediatrics suggests limiting your child's exposure to TV or the computer for educational purposes only, and that kids between between ages 3 to 5 should only have about 1 hour of TV and computer time. Kids older than 6 can have about 2. Jacqueline Kovac, 6 News.
There you guys go. Again, all credit goes to WJAC TV over there, Channel 6 News. Thank you so much for putting that on. I appreciate it. Man, you guys, very powerful. And I just said it on this podcast. Very powerful stuff there, guys. Tammy?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's kind of like I talked about the other night, instant gratification. Here's really,
Thank you, John.
I'm going to put it down where it relates to things that we talk about all the time, like trying to get rid of the registry, make things make sense, and for people to learn self-control and taking classes and getting help, like the addictions we talked about the other night.
Yeah. See,
recognizing problems and things like that. Well, when you give a child who is not developed in that part of the brain about their body and things like that, and they're seeing these things and they start doing things to experiment to see what that feels like because they saw it on the phone or the tablet or the TV, the overstimulation of certain body parts and things, because when you open up a phone and you open up a tablet, even on, and I'm going to call out a couple of people, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all these. They cannot monitor everything. They try to. They would love to, and they would love to, put their little trackers on us and crap that they do, their little algorithms. Problem you have is if dad or mom hands their phone and dad or mom did something that an adult is allowed to do and look at certain images or certain things, and that pops up and little Susie or Timmy sees it, they don't understand what that really is. They only see that the people look like they're doing something, and then they imitate behavior, and then now we have a problem because somebody's doing something at school at the age of 5 or daycare or whatever, what have you. And I speak on this very highly because I saw it over and over again in education. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, I agree. And
then they offend.
Yeah, and because I think this, like you said, you just proved it, and in the video just proved it, and I've been saying it for a while now too, that cell phones and all this online activity causes crimes because it warps our
video games.
Yeah, it warps our mind. Games. Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, absolutely. It teaches kids how to steal cars.
Violence, some of them. And
they advertise it. Basically, that's what.
Relationships. Sims. Remember Sims?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah. That's it. Oh man, I remember that. Yeah.
Actual affairs. And
I know.
Can you imagine a kid? We're
making babies in the video game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And these kids don't understand. And then, John, correct.
Correct, John.
Snapchat. I forgot. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
That and WhatsApp and all these other apps.
And Telegram. Come on. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole host.
But then yet they want to point the fingers at us. Right, Tammy. And again, and keep in mind, Tammy and everybody, they want to point the fingers at us and make us look like we're the bad guys. It's our fault.
But Congress allows all these companies to be in our country. So
some social media platforms, if I'm not mistaken, some media platforms, I believe you got to be at least 18, but we all know kids are lying on their age.
Well, it's a checkbox. They don't have a way. They don't make you upload proof of your identity.
No.
They don't, which would be breaching some constitutional things there. So they really can't. But if you go on an alcohol website, because I go on some of them, because there's a couple that I don't drink anymore, but I like to cook with certain alcoholic beverages to make things. And so I'll go on there for recipes and stuff. Imagine that. And they do say, what is your birth date? And you have to put it in. But I'll tell you what, if I ask my nephew who's under the age of 12 what my birth date is, or my sister's or something, he could type it in. In fact, he took my sister's credit card, or not credit card, her bank card, and he was ordering Weebucks and stuff off the phone because he knew how to do all that. He went in and he did her passcode and everything. She didn't give it to him. He learned it.
Yeah. Wow. So it's like, what's the point? Yeah.
It's like, if they do that, then what?
Yeah.
I know what I would do if my kid did that, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, can you
You know,
imagine one of
yeah,
your
yeah.
kids at like 10? You go in there and you go, why is $200 missing out of my bank account? And your kid used your cell phone
Oops.
and purchased all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
I'm just like, really?
You got to, again, that's when, like my friend in the private chat, he says common sense. We got to bring back common sense, guys.
They're
We're
not
losing.
teaching it to them.
Well, they're taking that out, plus so many other things that used to be in school when I was in school. They take prayer out of school. They take the Pledge of Allegiance out of school. What the heck? I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's just crazy.
You can't say Merry. You can't say Merry Christmas anymore. It's like people get offended over it. I mean, really? But
well, and it's like me at my job when I have people that are sick. I had, hypothetically, there was a gentleman that was, his wife was a veteran. She had, the hypothetical people had, she had gotten cancer, and it was all over her body. She's
I hate
terminal.
I hate
hospice is
cancer.
in there, and there was, they had, the hypothetical family had 4 kids, and one was just born in January.
I hate cancer.
It just, I had to, hypothetically had to get off the phone and cry. But I told him, I said, you are in my thoughts. I was like, you're in my thoughts. I can't tell him I'm going to pray for you. And I prayed right then and there. But I was like, okay, this is outside of my job. But there are, I want to say this, Curtis, while you're on here. Every state has not only the VFWs and things like that, the personal nonprofits, but every state has a Veterans Commission. Texas has the Texas Veterans Commission, and they have, Florida has one, New Mexico, all of the states have them. And they're run by veterans, for veterans. They help with employment, they help with housing, they help pay rent, they help pay for food, shelter, everything you can think of. They help you get back in the VA system, get your medical, whatever. They're there to assist. So I want to kind of throw that out there while I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I had mentioned that to him. I said, this is out of the scope of what I do, but I just want to make y'all all aware. There's
I appreciate
out there that you may not know, and he didn't know they existed.
Wow.
But his wife was a veteran. She served. She needs help. She should be getting help.
Yeah.
She did say the VFW gave diapers and bottles to them, was helping them with formula and with diapers. So.
Well, and again, I'm not dogging the VA, but we are still having a lot of issues. With homeless or homeless veterans, we're still having that issue. So it really bothers me that we can't take care of our vets like we should. All right, Tim, man, you take care. Thanks for being here, man. Tim Man says, I'm out, y'all. I have to boogie. All right, take care, bud. Have a great night.
So,
and go ahead.
I said, but agree what Curtis said. Not everyone on the registry is a perv.
I agree.
Well, and not everyone on the registry is even guilty of what they served time for or got accused of either. And I think it's just a stupid system that's not working.
Right.
Period. If it doesn't work, then let's
Why
move
keep
on
it?
to the next thing. Why keep it?
Yeah. Joan said this. The solution is to require minors' phones flashed with a version of the OS where 18 plus apps are hard coded out from the device. That's interesting. Yeah, that might work.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Mommy and daddy don't hand them their damn phone because the kid's screaming and they're out somewhere and they don't want, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem.
Yeah. And I agree with this too. What Tim Man said, Tammy says this: I wish we could afford to live on one income. Yeah, because nowadays both parents have to work, ladies and gentlemen, which causes the kids, in some sense, if you don't have a babysitter or whatnot, to stay home and have that whole entire time to do what they want without the parents knowing it until you get home, and then it's too late. Because we can't be home to take care of our kids. Both parents today in today's society have to work just to make ends meet because everything's so expensive. And he said it right there. I wish we could afford to live on one income like we used to. That's why the parents are gone. Yeah.
Well, and that's what they did when the whole women's lib and all that started. And I'm not knocking. I understand what women want, and I understand what the direction was going there at that point because they felt like they had no voice.
Right.
But once women started working, and then the government kind of pushed that agenda, they knew what they were going to do because what they did, they doubled everything in price because they saw families actually starting to come ahead and be able to do something. They want to keep them down. They don't want us to be part of the 1%. They
don't want to lose that control they have on us. They want to be in control. They want to take all control away from us and leave us just with maybe a little bit of crumbs.
They don't want us in that 1% because then we have a real big voice.
Well, then we can take over. Again, real quick, before I get to the share screen again, it says this: you need to be old enough to distinguish between life and fantasy. Oh, I agree.
I think you need that, but you also need to know what boundaries are, and that's a problem because
limits.
Unfortunately, adults cross boundaries, and that what creates the crimes that happen, and why we end up having prisons because people don't distinguish between life and fantasy.
Correct, John. Yeah, no, sorry, Tammy. I want to let know, John, you're correct. Absolutely. Did you see his comment?
Yep, I agree.
There it is.
Good idea, John. I agree with that.
John says that's where the government makes it a felony to hand the kid the non-blocked phone, e.g., neglect, child abuse. Absolutely. And of course, Curtis said this, and I believe in him. I can see it. Government wants all control. And if it wasn't for us, there would be no government. But anyways, Curtis said, like in China and Russia. Yeah, absolutely. But let's go ahead and do real quick. Instagram is scary and gross. Yeah, I don't get on Instagram much at all. I can't. I'm not a big fan of it. Never really was. But thanks for that comment. Nonetheless, Tim, man, I appreciate you. But anyways, share screen time. I got some more information and data I want to share with you guys before we get out of here. And Tammy, if you want to, you can read all this off if you want, or at least help.
Okay, let me get to that one. Sorry about it, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. This is the whole purpose, ladies and gentlemen, of the reason why we chose, the definition of the village, why we need a village, why it's necessary, guys. So I truly believe if we don't put a village together or make a village strong enough to try to make a dent in this system, then there's no point.
This was put out by Psychology Today, discovering the meaning through the village.
Yes.
So I'm going to go into it, and then we'll probably skip around a little because it's a pretty long article. Throughout our years research, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I'm just going to say, we'll breeze through it.
Throughout our years of researching, teaching, and mentoring in the field of meaning, we have encountered many people who told us that they don't feel connected to others in their neighborhood or workplaces. Despite being in an increasingly networked and connected world, one that is presumably flat, too many people still feel alone. Moreover, they told us that they feel many of their interactions with others are superficial or transitory. They may have hundreds, even thousands of friends online, yet they don't really have anyone with whom they can share their real challenges in everyday life and work. And in a social networked world, They are especially tired of portraying a false, happy, successful, exciting, no worries life online. In essence, they realize that even if they are physically and technologically connected, they are not meaningfully connected. And this is a thing. It goes on to say, many of us have been taught to love thy neighbor, but how can we love our neighbors when we don't even know them? See, and
Correct.
that's the thing, guys. How they say, unfortunately, all of these actions negatively affect our communities or villages, metaphorically speaking, if not real brick and mortar villages. So the whole thing about it is, our communities, our villages are the sum of all who live or work there. Every person influences the village, either positively or negatively, as their good or not so good behavior ripples throughout the village. Everyone makes a difference and everyone has an impact. Even as someone tries to stay neutral or even disengaged, this attitude or non-action also makes a difference to the whole.
Right.
So the way I feel and what this conveys, and y'all can go into reading more about this, it's very interesting as you get more into it.
Yes.
But basically, listen, we can sit up here and we can preach day after day. We could be up on and do a podcast every night, 5 times a day. But if the rest of the village doesn't engage and doesn't go out into the world and take some of this with them and proactively make a positive change, then our voices, we're speaking out into air.
Right.
But I want to tell you that I do see people out making positive changes. I've seen people in this group that when I first met them, they evolved, some for the better, some for the worse. But I cannot believe how inspiring some individuals have been to me and meant so much.
Right.
I can't even put words on it sometimes. It means a lot. And there are people that go out and they take charge and they lead the world. And then there's people that follow. I don't care which stance you take, as long as we're out there pushing agendas. And I guess agendas might not be the best word, but I don't care. I'm just going to say agendas because that's what popped out of my mouth.
You're good.
And we're putting into the hands of other people knowledge that they can go out and use to make their village, their immediate village. What stops you from talking to your next door neighbor? I had a young kid that moved in next to me that I didn't know nothing about him. And one day, our dogs forced us to have to socialize together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think we don't even talk to our neighbors much anymore, thanks to, again, as we were talking about here tonight, breaking it down, social media, news media, fear mongering. We're afraid to even go outside of our home and talk to our neighbors or being socialized. It's sad.
I'm glad I grew up the way I did, because I think of having to move and having to meet new people and be around different cultures my whole life. It made me be able to do that. I could go anywhere and I can fit in. I can be in a place that I don't speak the language, that I don't know anybody, and I will find a way to make my way to learning it, to adapting and doing. We are taking that away from our children with all of this nonsense. It is nonsense, and it is our fault. We have to change it.
Right.
Let me get that one up. I have it right here.
No, I was going to go ahead and show everybody this real quick. Again, all this stuff, this data, this links and all that is in the description of this video tonight if you guys want to go see it on your own time, if I'm doing it too fast or too slow. But I want you guys to really pay attention, not just with the contents of this page, but I want you to look at this picture, even though it's like advertising kind of set up. Look at that kid's face, frowning. His dad is on the computer and he's sitting there with a frown, pissed off. Either he can't be on it or his dad told him no. Again,
Dad's smiling.
Yeah.
happy and ignoring,
This
totally
this
oblivious.
this picture sends such a strong message on all aspects. It goes all over the place. And this is what's wrong with our society. Parents need to be parents. Put the computer down, folks. Unless it's something that's important that you got to do, but put it down and spend some time with your family.
I don't know how many times when I had the restaurants with my ex-husband that people be in there and their kid would be tugging at them saying mommy or daddy. And I experienced this with family and tugging, and they don't even hear their kid because they're so self-absorbed in their damn phone. And it would break my heart.
Right. I know.
There's one part in this, Jay, that I want to read real quick, and it just basically said
Okay, which part is it? Which part is it? I can highlight it.
It's going to be under the negative social effects of social media on families.
Okay. I'll just go ahead.
Yeah. So it can bring forth negative or zero interactions between siblings, couples, family members, parent-child relationships. It needs more conversation between family members. If everyone is always on their phone when they are together, no one is paying attention to each other, stripping of us of our ability to hear and see verbal and nonverbal messages, such as body language, like that little kid. Social media deprives family members of learning and modeling with each other's social cues, interpersonal relationship skills, communication, and bonding.
Correct.
It can also make the family member less critical and absent-minded in family issues. Kids who spend more time using technology and social media at a young age will have difficulty understanding emotion and developing relationships and will be more dependent on others than their peers. Social media or technology in general can destroy family cultures and the rejoicing of family gatherings, which in turn can lead to decrease in quality time and relationship satisfaction.
Yeah, and perfect, nicely said. It's
it's sad.
Just like what I say with the politicians, there need to be term limits. There needs to be limits with our kids' online activity. We got to figure out something to do about this. It's ruining and destroying our kids, and then you wonder why our youth jails are full.
It's destroying humanity, if you want the truth. iRobot, do I see that come into fruition? Absolutely, I do. Eventually, technology is not based on emotion. Technology, and they can say artificial intelligence is to a degree, but eventually it's going to think that we are subpar and that we don't meet up to its expectation, and logically it's going to want to get rid of us because it will see that there is no purpose for us if they can do everything on their own.
Correct. And Curtis agrees with what I was saying earlier about the phones and the parenting. John Doe said this problem is the projects are everywhere now. Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree.
Man, you guys are spot on tonight.
We have talking AI out in the world.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I never thought I'd say this. I never thought in my wildest dream in my life I would ever see this take over, but it's taking over. It's taking over. I
wonder how many people we've actually interacted with in society. They're actual AI.
Well, makes you kind of wonder.
I'm out there, but I'm just saying. I guarantee you.
No, you're thinking.
It's called amongst us that aren't people.
You're thinking. You're opening your mind to what I would consider good thinking. You never know.
So when do we become extinct and not worth anything, and we're raising our children to see things in a way different light? I mean, children like me, I took care of my dad when he was passing away, but I don't see that happening for myself. You know, children don't come back sometimes, and it's
and that's their loss.
They live their lives, and
that's their loss. You know, and you shouldn't have to beat yourself up over it and thinking that it's somehow your fault because they made their choice. Just like I have another son besides, the family I have here, and he's in his 20s now. He don't give two shits about me. Excuse my French. And I don't know the reason, but I could care less because, if that's how it is what it is. And I'm technically a grandfather. I don't know if you knew that. And he had a kid, and I don't get to see that grandkid either.
I'm so sorry.
But, it is what it is. It's sad because it doesn't have to be that way. But that's merely done by choice and fear mongering.
Well, and then you have all this estrangement and encouragement.
Thank you, Curtis.
Too. They all have the where they don't see us as family anymore.
It's ignorance.
They just disconnect. They disconnect because they don't have the emotion. It's like when crimes are committed. I watched a bunch of videos. I don't know why I did. It just popped up on my YouTube. And I was watching these kids that committed crimes and stuff. And a bunch of them, man, they didn't have, like they had no emotion. Mm-hmm. Over and over and over again, I started seeing the trend in it all. And that's what made me kind of think of this topic, is that with the video games, with the thing, a 10, 11-year-old kid really doesn't understand the permanence of death or unaliving. Sorry, man, I always mess up.
Well, no, you're good, but you hit that on the nail because there was a news break not too long ago. I did a video on it. I don't know if you guys watched the video or not. I'll have to find it later. 11-year, I think it was 11. She was only 11. Tim, get this, 11. The human brain, again, guys, the human brain is not fully developed until about age 25. So just do your math if you're good at it. But she was 11, and she thought it would be funny and a joke. And I don't know if anybody, I don't recall doing it when I was a kid. But kids today, she got on the phone 911 and faked a fake 911 kidnapping call. And she got in trouble for that, and she got put in handcuffs. Cops came to the house and all, and dad was furious. But again, where was the parent? What's making these kids do all of these things? And she said to the cops, "My friends made me do it." See, peer pressure. My friends made me do that action. Something they saw, they wanted to do a prank. See,
well, here's the thing. Okay,
kids aren't kids anymore. They don't do kid stuff anymore. They do adult stuff. Sorry, Tammy. They do adult stuff. They think pranks. Pranks are funny.
Them, that was a teaching moment for that cop to say, "Look, while I'm here talking to you right now, somebody is across the way that just got hit in a car accident that may be unaliving, and I'm over here dealing with you over this stupidity, and I need to be over there."
Yeah.
Or there's a bad person robbing a store.
We got to do better.
A gun out.
We got to do better. No, yeah, you're right.
Them not to do things like that, but that's the problem. And instead of coming down with an iron fist, we need to inflict the emotion and the consequence and the caring. And listen, I know you were playing a prank, but this prank may have cost so and so their life.
Cost taxpayers a lot of money to try to find the kidnappers when there was none.
Yes.
A lot of resources.
Like that. Yes, a lot of resources, and explain to them, while we're doing this, there's somebody out there that really was kidnapped or really was hurt.
I don't. To me, it's
home because
it's correct, and to me, it's not a funny joke. That's not funny.
No, it's not funny, but to them, they don't. The dots aren't connecting at that age.
Yep, but to 11-year-old, she thought it was funny. Her friends thought it was funny.
Well, there's just a lot, and and that, like we were talking about the other night. Well, the reason things happen to some children is because the parents are absent. The parents are absent. They could be sitting in the same house with them, and they're not looking in. Oh, I haven't seen so and so in a few minutes.
Where's your kid while you're out in the garage, or if you're working on your car, or if you're out mowing the lawn? Where's your kid while you're doing house chores?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what are they doing, and how are they doing it? I'm not saying that you have to be a perfect parent, but hell, you have to be aware.
You can't be a lazy one either.
or sleeping in your bed all day.
Fair enough.
Don't get me started. There are
I know.
some that I know.
I know.
I mean, I know it.
Well, Tammy, we've reached our moment in our time as usual. Do you have any closing arguments?
No, I just want to tell everybody that I love you very much. I'm going through some stuff, so if you'll keep me in your prayers. And
Yeah.
listen, just like value the things that are important. These
Yeah.
phones, man, we used to have to pull out a map to get from point A to B.
Mhm.
And you know what was fun about that is that we got to see some really cool stuff along the way in between. We're missing those moments. We're missing those teaching moments. We're missing those family memory making moments, those village making moments. I met some of the best people when we used to have neighbors, when we used to actually get out and talk and barbecue together and have, neighborhood Easter egg hunts. I used to do those, or I'd do a haunted house at Halloween in the garage, and all the kids would walk through. We participated because we wanted to know what kids our kids were hanging out with, what their parents were like, what was the caliber of our neighborhood.
Correct.
And common sense, for crying out loud, Curtis, I agree 100%. Teach your children common sense.
Yeah. And I was just gonna,
Please
we hit
save
that.
me on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a very strong word. And I was going to do actually tonight, I'm going to still do it, I think. I'm going to do an Imaginette segment just on some common things. And I want to hit that up before I go. And I got my closing arguments and I got an update.
Okay.
So before we go, but thank you, Tammy, for that. I appreciate your advice and your insight. You're a godsend.
Well, you guys too.
Everybody here in the chat, not just Tammy. I don't want to think everybody, oh, Tammy, but
one big family.
Everybody is worth it here. I appreciate every single one of you guys more than you know. You guys make this podcast what it is today. I got a great team, a really, really great team. And Curtis said this real quick before I do my segment. Government doesn't have common sense. Ooh, talk about a burn. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate you, my friend. Well, Tammy, I'm going to go ahead and kick off my little segment. I haven't done this in a while, but I think it's fitting for tonight's podcast. So let's go ahead and kick that off right here. Here's another Imaginette segment on Man's Night. Here it is. Thank you guys for watching another Imaginette segment. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I feel it was necessary to do that. Tammy's still in the background. She's not going anywhere. But I just wanted to say a few things, if I may, before my time's up, even though it already is. The main focus and reason why we decided to do this podcast, guys, tonight was because I'm starting to see a lot of scary things happen in our world today. When you sit and pick up your device, whatever it may be, whether it's TV, laptop, phone, tablet, whatever it is, we're starting to see a very disgusting world. We are. And I'm going to be honest with you. And this was taught to me a long time ago, and I want to share it with you guys. I think it's important. Every single one of you guys, Tammy, all you guys in the chat, everybody here on Earth was put here for a purpose. And that purpose was to build. Okay, guys? Not to destroy. And I'm starting to see our world crumble under our feet. And it's disgusting. Everybody wants to point fingers at us, at me, or at Curtis, or at Tammy, or John, or somebody in the chat. Point fingers. But look, guys, look. When you're pointing your fingers at somebody, look how many right there are pointing back at you. Make sure, guys, seriously, make sure that your closet's clean before you start judging somebody else. And I'm sick and tired of watching where this world's going. We need change, and we need it now. We needed it yesterday. And we need a village to bring solid change to our communities. I'm not the bad guy, even though there's a few documents out there that says otherwise. I'm not the label. I'm not that person. All right? And I'm sick and tired of being labeled as it. We got to move on from our mistakes, even though I didn't do mine. And we got to build and stop destroying. And that's how I look at it, guys. That's how I look at it. And that's my Imagine That segment right here from Inside Out. Welcome back, Tammy.
Okay.
So yeah, I get frustrated with it, but it is what it is. I mean, it is so true, though, right? We need to build. We need a village, just like you said, a village.
It is. I mean, I'm trying to advocate, and I'm talking to these women in the groups of our Texas inmates that are going through hell right now. Like several of the prisons have no electricity for going on a week now since the hurricane hit. And they're still without electricity. They haven't moved them. They haven't done shit for them.
Yeah,
So, I mean, like, they don't care. And disease will run rampant because of the no electricity, too.
It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
And so I'm telling these women, when your husband has an issue, just because they move them, that issue doesn't go away. You need to make sure that you're still putting in your bitch sessions to these authorities and making us aware here so that we can all gang up with you to get behind it and move it, because if there's like 50 complaints, then they're going to notice and they have to do something because it's too big of a number. But if it's only, the one or two people, you come to us for help when your husband's going through it, we help you. And then all of a sudden, you don't want to stick around and help. You don't care that the next person going in that cell is going to have sewage dripping on them. That's bullshit. No, you stick up and you stand behind with us, even though your husband's moved to a better cell. You still stand in that fight because you knew the problem existed, and you stay on that.
Correct.
And that's what we face. And I encourage everybody that has any loved one, or even if you don't and it disgusts you, please write in to your congressmen and women, your local representatives. And I'm even talking about on the most basic local level, even your mayor in your town or whoever.
Yeah.
City
Be the
council
voice.
members, let them
Speak
know
up.
there's no AC.
Yeah. Speak
Bullshit.
up.
It's bullshit. People are dying, man. They're dying from this heat.
Well, and again, we got to. These people are got to stop being afraid.
You have to in there. You have to stop.
You got to have some backbone.
Whoever it is, you have to stop being afraid. Listen, my husband knows when an I-60 is, and he'll put one in a heartbeat. And right behind it comes the grievance. If he doesn't get the response, then he files the grievance. And then I'm on the other end. Once he files that grievance, I'm on my email. And I'm like, such and such.
It's all you can
I stay
do.
on it until I get the response I need to hear. And he knows he may get himself pulled out of there and beaten to hell and back. But you know what? We can't change it if we don't speak up.
No, if we're silent, nothing's going to get done, guys. It is what it is.
And then if you're in there, then you'll know. And it's sad that somebody has to go in and get hurt, or somebody that we love, or one of our children, or brother or sister, or mom and dad, or ourselves even. We're always one step away from a cop getting pissed at us, or a judge, or mostly the DA. The DA is what's going to screw you every time.
Yep. And
Once
if you
they
get
do the charges, you're
right,
done.
and absolutely, Tammy. And if you get involved with the cops, or the cops are going to knock on your door, know your rights. Know your rights.
Your rights. Yep.
Do not let them in without a search warrant. Do not answer questions. You do not have to cooperate. Know your rights. Basically, shut up. Plead the fifth.
There's one on TikTok. There's an attorney on there, and he always says, "What do? You shut the hell up."
You shut the F up. Yeah, it was the pop.
He'll say the F word too. He'll say that one too, and he'll
Yeah,
say,
it's the yep.
Up.
Yep, it's the Pop Brothers. I know exactly who you're talking about. I used to watch them all the time. The Pop Brothers are funny.
And I'm just like, oh my God,
Yep.
that's so true.
Stop talking to the police. They're not your friend. But anyways, Tammy, thank you so much for your insight. Again, everything that you say here is, I take to heart. So keep me updated on your health issues, and we'll chat and go from there. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, and I appreciate you guys and all you do, and praying for Rick and being a voice for him and others like him. There's so many of them. It just,
Oh yeah.
I can't.
And we're in hurricane season, folks. Even though it's not, we just had one pass through. It hit Texas and went up through the states. But it's gonna get ramped up here soon. I think it's August or September when it gets really busy. Hurricane season isn't over until November, so we have a few months still to go. And of course, I live out here like Tammy, out here in hurricane area. So I'm keeping my eye on the tropics. I keep my eye on the weather. But we need to always, keep an eye on our friends and our neighbors. Like, we need to communicate and check up on people like Tammy, like her health issue she had, her health scare. I didn't know nothing about it, and she told me, and I feel bad because I feel guilty. I should have checked up on you, but it is what it is. But I get caught up in everything else that I lose track. I don't have enough time, But anyways, John said this. NRSN, yes, thank you so much for that. And John looks like a Charlie Foxtrot. Thank you, John. Oh, he's something else. Anyways, you always bring a smile to my face, John. Thank you so much for that. All right, guys. Well, my quick update is this, and it's nothing to be negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I try to bring positivity as much as I can to this network and this podcast, but I just wanted to keep it real with you, and I want to show some accountability. I feel I owe you guys an apology, every single one of you guys. I don't want to call it I've been keeping it from you. It's just actually trying to find the way to explain it without thinking that I'm hiding something from you guys. I'm not. When we did that contest on our 6-year anniversary of being here on YouTube, you guys all won prizes. And I had it lined up where I thought it was going to, work out when it comes to getting the prizes out to the winners. I've already communicated with Cynthia about this, and she's, thank God she's understandable. But I wanted to be accountable of my actions. I wanted to come out like a man, even though this is hard, and apologize to the winners and all of you, because I feel that I opened my mouth when I shouldn't have. I got overboard with the game, if you will, and I knew in the back of my mind I didn't have the funds or the prizes to give out. So because I'm not bringing in enough revenue, guys, on this channel, on this network, between bills and everything else, guys, I wanted to be honest with you. I don't have it to give. As much as I want to, I'm taking accountability. I apologize up front right here tonight on this podcast of all podcasts, and say I'm sorry for not mailing out your gifts, your prizes. So I'm going to work on it. It's just going to take some time or until I get some revenue or something changes. Other than that, I don't know. I'm in a bind, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. This podcast is not bringing it in. And to prove, again, guys, that I'm not lying, I want to show you the evidence. This is what I have on YouTube right now, and I can't even touch this until I reach the threshold. Here it is. I have $36.11 in there. That's what I made so far in the month of July. I'm not mad. It's just what is going on. I'm almost at 8,000 subs, guys, and I'm not. Just nothing's coming in. I can't sell merch. I can't sell nothing. I can't even sell stickers. I got one member, Mark. Thank you, Mark. at the $2.99 level. I'm not breaking anything in. So I'm at a crossroad in my life where do I keep this podcast going? Do I keep this network going? Or do I fold it up and go get a job? I need money. Bills are piling up. I don't want to be in debt. So I'm going to ask you guys real quick before I sign off, Tammy, you too, what should I do? Should I keep this going or should I find a different route? And I want everybody's input tonight before I sign off. Tammy, go ahead. You're up first.
Well, I think we need to try and find you some type of revenue stream coming in, maybe through some grants or something.
I'm frustrated.
We need to put you in a nonprofit type of status under your LLC to get some backing, maybe some fathers' rights groups and some other things that could get behind you.
I don't know what's going on.
The things, I just think that the market is flooded, to be honest with you. And I think that when you started, I wish I had met you years ago. We could have probably, avoided a whole train wreck of crap that came down on you too. And that was a big issue.
I've been doing this for 6 years, and you would think in 6 years I'd be big by now and making enough money to support myself.
Well,
I'm not.
I mean, it just, unfortunately, the topics that we hit are topics people need to hear, but they don't. Like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. People don't understand the issues. They just live in their stereotypical bubble.
I know.
And they don't want to get outside that bubble. People are very habitual. So they keep doing their old habits, and something new comes along that might actually help them or their situation.
I agree.
And they don't look outside that bubble because they're used to doing their same little routine over and over and over again. But
I agree.
When you get out of that routine and you look outside of your world, you actually open the door and you say, oh, wow, there's a world outside. Oh, those are trees. Those things are trees. Oh, there's birds in the trees. It's kind of like that kind of situation. I feel for you. I am so scared right now with what happened to me yesterday, and then
I know, me too. I worry about you, Tam.
I'm just like, I have to get my nonprofit out, because if I don't, how am I going to come up with the legal things to help other people? Lawyers don't give a rat's. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody, but they want that money. When you're talking about appeals attorneys and stuff like that, and I've been told a million times, oh, call the Innocence Project or do this or do that. Listen, I've written them. I've called them. I've been turned down by the NAACP.
I know that feeling.
I've heard all the bullshit. And it's like you've been turned down, but we need to find different revenue streams to bring in some moolah a different way, because guys, if you can spare $3 a month, it's not that much to support.
Or even $1, or even $1.
Or even $1. All these subs and things. Help keep his channel alive, because I know there's a lot of people and there's been some to reach out that are very quiet, and they want help with their problems and their addictions and things like that, and we've helped them, but they want more help, and we try and give them resources. Well, it takes money to get those resources and connect people, and there's people we really want to help that need the help that we can't help because we don't have the funds.
Correct.
So
and I want to do more. And Tammy, I want to do more too, to get out in the field and do stuff, or advocate out in the field, or do field reporting or something along those lines. That takes money.
Yes, it does.
And
it does.
So I don't know. I'm at a bind. It's like, should I go get a job and not focus on this so much, or what should I? I mean, I'm stuck, and I don't want to seem like I'm being selfish and just thinking about myself, because believe it or not, guys, in order for these podcasts to run, like Tammy said, it takes the internet bill. It takes, I got 2 cell bills. I got this one plus the, where is it? Studio line to keep running. That's 160, 150. The internet's 50. The house internet's 50. That's 2 internet bills. Sorry. There's 2. I got one out here and one in the house. And you know, I got merch, not selling 1 ounce of any clothing line. I got stickers that are like $6. Can't even sell a sticker. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I'm not making enough money to support this podcast. I'm scared. Not to say I'm scared, like, you know, but from a manly perspective, it takes a lot of revenue, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of funds to keep this thing afloat. So,
Yeah, I mean, guys, just realize that, and we love you all like family, but if you could spread the word too, or if you know of any agencies that might be able to help Jay out, other nonprofit organizations or anything like that, that's also something that would be to think of.
it's amazing how other podcasters and other YouTubers are making it, and I just can't. I don't know what the difference is between the two. They talk about prison stuff, and their propaganda, and they're very vocal, like JD Delay. I'm not trying to sound like I'm picking on him all the time, but he can't keep the hats on the shelf. It must be nice.
Well, I mean, Ugly and Gore does sell all the time, but maybe we need to come up with something to counteract that. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm.
Thank you,
But
John.
anybody has any good ideas or anything, let us know.
Yeah.
That's my cue. Love you
Okay.
guys.
Take care,
Bye.
Tammy. Bye.
Bye.
So there you guys have it. Thank you, John, so much for that information. But I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. I've been on here long enough. Curtis, all of you, John, Tin Man, let's see who else in here. Tammy, of course, when she was on here. There's a few other people I must have missed. Indian, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you if you're still here. And to everybody else that are not in the chat, that can't be in the chat, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys more than you know. You guys are awesome, and keep doing what you're doing. We are actually very close now, guys, to breaking the 8,000 sub mark here as I speak. So that is awesome. Whatever it is that you guys are doing is working and getting my stuff out there. So thank you so much for that. But we will see you next time on Wednesday's roundtable next week, coming up on this Wednesday. I'm pretty sure we're going to have an interesting show then. With that said, enjoy you guys' weekend. I'm your host, Jay. I'll see you guys on the next one. Good night, everybody. Peace.